take a look at some sports news for the day. Here's Charles Eruka.
Welcome to Sports News. Egyptian Gayad Grisha has been appointed as the center referee for the 2018 FIFA World Cup qualifying match between Zambia's Chipolopolo and Nigeria's Super Eagles in Ndola on Sunday, October the 9th. Grisha has been a FIFA referee since 2008. He'll be assisted by compatriots Tahsen Bedier, Ahmed Taha and Ibrahim Nureddin. The 40-year-old was in charge of the South Africa 2013 AFCON group clash between Nigeria and Zambia, which ended 1-1. The match has been scheduled to kick off at the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium in Ndola at 1:30 p.m. Nigerian time. Meanwhile, World Football Governing Body FIFA has announced that the Ballon d'Or deal between it and France Football magazine has ended. The coveted award will from now on return to its original home after France Football's agreement with FIFA finished. The next recipient will be determined by a vote of journalists, as national team captains and managers will no longer have a say. Argentina and Barcelona star Lionel Messi won the award for a record 5th time in 2015. FIFA plans to continue its annual Best Player awards to male and female players. And in club football, Antonio Conte suffered his first defeat as Chelsea manager as Liverpool moved alongside their hosts in the top 4 of the Premier League. Defender Dejan Lovren was left unmarked to volley in Felipe Coutinho's left-wing cross for the Reds opener. Skipper Jordan Henderson doubled their lead with a 30-yard thunderbolt. Chelsea improved after half-time as Diego Costa tucked in Nemanja Matic's cutback, but Liverpool held on to join the Blues and Everton on 10 points. The Court of Arbitration for Sport has temporarily lifted its ban on Real Madrid's player transfer business. Madrid, the reigning European champions, filed an appeal at the Lausanne-based court following their dispute with FIFA over the legal signing of underage foreigners. This means 8 players, including French coach Zinedine Zidane's sons Theo and Elias, can play for their respective youth teams until the appeal decision is made. Talking about the transfer business, Neymar's 2013 transfer to Barcelona is to be investigated by the Spanish La Liga. The Spanish Football League body wants talks with the club about the agreement they came to with the Spanish Public Prosecutor's Office over the signing. In June, Barcelona paid a £4.3 million fine over the 24-year-old's move from Santos. The La Liga champions were accused of tax fraud, which they denied. And now to boxing. Saul Canelo Alvarez says he will not underestimate Liam Smith in their WBO fight tomorrow. Although he is tipped as the heavy favorite to win, Canelo is nonetheless expecting a tough challenge at the Dallas Cowboys AT&T Stadium in Texas. Meanwhile, despite being labeled as the clear underdog by bookmakers, title holder Smith believes he has what it takes to upset the odds. That's the final bell on Sports News, and back to Ijoma with the rest of the news at 10.
More than 1 million people have fled South Sudan since the country has been engrossed in civil war, even after its independence from Sudan in 2011. The UN Refugee Agency says more people fled the country in recent fighting from the capital Juba, during which more than 185,000 people fled. South Sudanese refugees are scattered across at least 5 African countries, top of which is Uganda, which hosts more than 373,000 of them. Next is Ethiopia, Sudan, Kenya and the Democratic Republic of Congo. The fallout between South Sudan's President Salva Kiir and former Vice President Riek Machar led to the civil war, which began in 2013. The German Chancellor Angela Merkel says the European Union is in a critical situation as leaders meet in Slovakia to discuss ways to regain trust after the UK voted to leave the bloc. Ms. Merkel says the EU needs to show that it can improve on security, defence, cooperation and the economy. But EU countries are deeply divided over how to boost growth and respond to the influx of migrants. And in the U.S., for the first time, the Donald Trump campaign has acknowledged in a statement that U.S. President Barack Obama was indeed born in the United States. The Republican candidate had been a leader of the birther movement that questioned Hawaii-born Mr. Obama's citizenship. But his campaign now accused his Democratic rival Hillary Clinton of introducing the smear during the 2008 Democratic nomination contest. Reports say there is no evidence to link Mrs. Clinton to the birthers. In reaction, she tweeted that President Obama's successor cannot and will not be the man who led the racist birther movement. Moving over now to entertainment news. 93 Days, the keenly anticipated movie about Nigeria's fight against Ebola, makes grand entrance to the big screens. Here's Victoria Ido with more.
Here are your trending entertainment stories. The highly anticipated film 93 Days about the Ebola virus disease experienced in Nigeria premiered in Lagos at the Rock Cathedral. The cast and crew members were on ground to present the first official screening to the Nigerian public. After the screening, the host church house in the Rock presented the real-life individuals involved, including First Consultant Hospital, its doctors, and the heroic Stella Adadevo, whose award was received by her cousin, Alera Roberts.
Dr. Stella Ameyo Adadevo, thank you.
Meanwhile, the movie 93 Days has inspired gospel singer Samuel Kosu to want to do some professional acting as well. Speaking on the red carpet of the movie premiere, the Welwelu singer, in company of his wife, told Entertainment News that he's already working on a movie project.
I'm actually in the middle of working on my script, which is going to be my debut into the movie industry. I'm not just using Nollywood, because the kind of movie we're working on is not just going to be relegated to the four walls of Nollywood.
And that's all for tonight. It's back to the news at 10.
Thanks a lot, Victoria. And the main news again. The federal government today announced plans to inject an additional 350 billion naira into the economy to fund critical sectors. The finance minister, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, who provided the details in Abuja, also said the government will raise $1 billion from Eurobonds by mid-December to ease the recession. Also today, experts describe Nigeria's current recession as self-inflicted, saying the journey to economic downturn started several years ago. In addition to tracing the roots of the challenge, they also offered solutions to the problem. And according to the figures released by the UN Refugee Agency, the number of people who have fled the civil war in southern Sudan has exceeded 1 million. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Have a great weekend. Good night.
This is Channels Television, celebrating 21 years of professional broadcasting.